So just taking a seat in any way that feels comfortable for you. Bringing the hands to somewhere that they would naturally rest, inviting length through the spine. And just take a few slow moments to let your body settle. Take a few slow moments to let yourself move into the breath. Without trying to alter it, without trying to change it, just gently becoming aware of how long your breath count lasts. Starting to become aware of whether your inhale and your exhale are even in length. And if they're not, perhaps gently adjust, matching the length of the exhale with the length of the inhale. Perhaps, if you can, make the exhale ever so slightly longer. For the next few meditation sessions, I'm going to share some quotes which, on landing and on principle, may seem a little bit light. But for me, they've certainly given me freedom to think in a completely different way. And the first one this morning is very much relevant right now to, I think, quite a lot of us in terms of emotions. And I'll give you an example that will hopefully help it settle into your mind. The quote says that holding on to anger or sadness, resentment or judgment, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die from it. And I remember Sudhir telling me this on our silent retreat 3 years ago. And it brought with it a kind of freedom. These feelings that we cling to, these feelings of anger, resentment, frustration, things that are perhaps out of our control due to circumstance, things that may have happened that the other person has 9 times out of 10 likely completely forgotten. And it's freeing in the way that when you realize that actually the damage you're doing is furthering your own, it kind of gives you permission to just park it, to just let the feelings go. I remember leaving the retreat feeling as if I had just left a few bags, a few suitcases of baggage that I had been hauling around with me, and I just left them in Sweden. But actually, as I start to look at the quote in the rest of my life, it's given me permission to accept that, yes, those feelings are still going to come up. We are all still human. We're going to feel sad. And it doesn't always have to be at a person. We can feel sad, angry, resentful at a situation. And I think it's quite true of the situation the world currently finds itself in. There's a lot of sadness, a lot of worry, frustration, concern. And I think it's important to both acknowledge that you should feel those things. You shouldn't be packing them down, burying them deep into a place that will continue to hurt you later. You should allow yourself to feel. For a day, a week. Give yourself a timeline to feel it. And then give yourself permission and the reminder that you also told yourself you'd let it go. My most recent example was actually yesterday. I went to see a GP expecting to be told that a vein across the back of my ankle was nothing more than a varicose vein that would be injected and gently released down. And instead I was told with 99.9% certainty that I've somehow ruptured my Achilles tendon and will have to have surgery to stitch the back of my ankle back together again, and will spend 6 weeks in a boot. And I threw myself a one-person pity party yesterday. I was sad and I was angry and I was resentful. And I ate junk food and I woke up this morning and felt like, okay, I can't change it. Being angry about it, being sad about it isn't going to change the situation I'm going to find myself in fairly soon. All I can do is start to prepare and make myself as strong as I can so that when it happens, I rebound as quick as I can. I'd like you to think of a situation, and it can be now, it can be long gone, something that you're still holding on to. Some feeling, some tension that's still holding in your body, in the web of your fascia, that's restricting you from just letting go and stepping out of it. I don't think it's about denial and pretending that life is full of rainbows and unicorns. I think sometimes it's just choosing acceptance for the things that we truly can't change. So this morning, what I'd like you to try to do is, hopefully by now you've thought of a situation or a time or a person. If it's a person, I'd like you to practice saying, I forgive you, not for them, but for you. And whatever it is, I ask you to give yourself a timeline to really feel whatever it is that you need to dig deep and let out. And promise yourself that at the end of that period of time, you'll leave your bags, you'll walk away from it. Noticing whether the mind is instead taking you down a story. If it's reliving the experience that set it off in the first place, or if it's current, noticing whether the mind has wandered away into a world that hasn't even occurred yet. Bring yourself back to here and now, and bring yourself back into the promise that you're about to make yourself. The promise to choose to put you first. Just let it go. You haven't already, set yourself a timeline. Promise yourself you'll give permission to just feel it. And let it go. I promise it's quite an empowering decision to make, even if it feels counterintuitive at the time. Gently extend the arms out in front of you, wrap the hands together to generate some heat. Bring the fingers over the eyes. Blink the eyes open behind the hands. Slowly start to spread the fingers and let the light fall back in. And then release the hands down when you feel ready. Oh, happy Thursday!